Welcome to Veganize It Wednesday. We are making an informal recipe video for vegan shepherd's pie tonight. So we have about 5 Yukon Gold potatoes, and this recipe is for 2 people. We probably won't have very many leftovers, so if you want leftovers, just double this. But we have about 5 Yukon Gold potatoes. We have 1 lonely little carrot. I would probably use 3 or 4 carrots in this recipe, but since we just have 1 carrot left in the fridge, I'm going to add this red pepper that we have left in the fridge, and that will add some extra sweetness. We have a can of sweet peas, some soy meat substitute grounds. I'm going to probably use 1/4 of this bag here. And then we have some lentils to add some filling for that meat substitute. Lentils are one of my favorite meat substitutes, so we have some of them. I'm probably going to use about 1 cup of them. And then some nutritional yeast to add to the potatoes, just to give it that a little bit more of a cheesy flavor. Some flour to thicken the underside, like the ingredients that are inside of the shepherd's pie. So I just have some flour to thicken that up. I'm going to use some vegetable base that I have in the fridge. I didn't bring that out, but I'm going to use that also. And then some red pepper flakes, Italian seasoning. I have some garlic powder, and I'll probably use some garlic salt. And then I have some hickory smoked olive oil. So I think this is vegan. I'm actually not really sure, but we're going to use that today. We're going to start by peeling and chopping these potatoes and getting them in some cold water to boil. Okay, so you're just going to add your potatoes to some cold water, get them boiling, and mash them like you would any mashed potatoes. Okay, so we've got our red pepper and our 1 little lonely carrot sauteing in our hickory smoked olive oil, and now we are going to add about 1/4 of these soy grounds, and then we're just going to let all that saute for a minute together. Okay, we've got our meat substitute sauteing with our pepper and our 1 single carrot, and then in here I have about a 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of garlic salt, a tablespoon of Italian seasonings, and then a teaspoon of salt and pepper. I'm just going to add that. And I'm just going to add a couple tablespoons of flour and let that cook. We've got our flour combined with everything and cooked down a little bit. Now we are going to add our can of drained peas and our cup of lentils. Kind of mix that around a little bit. And then since we put a cup of lentils in, we are going to add 2 cups of water. Probably add just about an extra 1/2 cup. And to that water, we're just going to add about 1 teaspoon of the Better Than Bouillon vegetable base. And my potatoes are boiling over. Okay, so we have our potatoes boiling over here, and we have our mixture of all our vegetables and lentils and peas over here, and we're just going to cover this and let the lentils cook for about 15 minutes or so, 15-20 minutes. Okay, so here's our mixture. I did add a little bit extra water just because it started to burn a little bit on the bottom. Let the lentils cook a little bit more. We've got our potatoes over here. I'm about to turn them off and drain them and mash them. Okay, now instead of adding any butter or milk or anything like that, I just added or kept some of the water in there from the boiled potatoes, and now I'm going to add this about 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. I'm just going to mash it all up. Okay, so we have our mashed potatoes on the bottom, and now we are going to add the insides of our shepherd's pie to the top. We are doing this reverse style because it is way too hot in here and I do not feel like turning the oven on, so that's how we're doing it tonight.